Okay, so today we have Morrissey and Kick the Bride Down the Aisle. So automatically, that title is grabbing. I mean, my goodness gracious, it's kind of in your face. And this is another one from World Peace is None of Your Business. And I see comments, some people saying they hate it, and some people saying, that they like it. So right off the bat, this seems like kind of a polarizing track. And just with that title, I might understand why. But anyway, let's get into it, talk about it after. Let's go. I'm intrigued. My goodness. It's dramatic. Almost sounds like a horror theme.
Kick the bride down the aisle and make no mistake. It's the best you can do for everyone's sake. Kick the bride down the aisle and treasure the day. I know so much more than I'm willing to say. She just wants a slave to break his back in pursuit of a living wage, so that she can laze and graze for the rest of her days. Right down everywhere I say. Bride down the aisle in a mudslide of gloom. She'll order you to tidy your room. Kick the bride down the aisle. Look at that cow in the field. It knows more than your bride knows now. She just wants a slave to break his back in pursuit of a living wage, so that she can laze and graze for the rest of her days. Right down everywhere I say. You're that stretch of the beach that the tide doesn't reach.
Is it dreamy?
No meaning, no reason, the lonely season. treasure the day.
Fade away, my goodness. So there it is, Morrissey's Kick the Bride Down the Aisle. Again, quite the interesting visual you get from that title. But anyway, I don't know. It's just it's something. But anyway, like I said, the dramatic beginning of the track, you know, and then we have a shift and it kind of changes, but then the dramatic shifts just continue to happen. As well, there was a kind of dreamy section, a dreamy part again at one point when I think Morrissey was talking about the beach or whatever, but we will get to the lyrics soon enough. But yeah, and again, Gustavo Manzer, I do believe, was on flamenco guitar here. It says he was on flamenco guitar, you know, on this album. I can only see the album personnel, but that's the guitar I want to go with what I thought I heard. But of course, it had you know a certain flair to it, and you know there's a certain softness to it. I think with the guitar playing on this track, kind of I don't know, not really subdued or whatever, but I mean, it was kind of played softly a little bit. Again, and then of course, Bosbor, I mean, I might as well just go through the personnel. Bosbor on guitar here, Jesse Tobias also on guitar, Solomon Walker on bass guitar, Matt Walker on drums, Gustavo, who I believe was also on organ here, because it said he was playing keyboards, piano, organ, synths, you know, through the whole album, but here I believe it was an organ. But either way, Gustavo was on the keys here, which again added to the whole melodrama, you know, the whole dramatic feel that I got from the track. So again, Gustavo was just, you know, very important on this track. Anyway, and then Christine Young, I thought I heard a woman's voice on the back vocals here. It does say she was on backing vocals. I don't know if she was on the song or not, but I thought I heard a woman on backing vocals, perhaps. But either way, and again, Morrissey was on lead vocals, if you believe that. But again, such a brooding kind of dark, you know, song in a way, again, and really it comes down to the lyrics, and you can't deny what you see people saying in the comments and such about talking about how the song almost seems misogynistic. And I mean, you know, that does come to mind. I mean, my goodness gracious, and I don't know if Morrissey is just talking about one specific woman in this scenario that he's talking about, you know, a woman that's just, because again, I mean, there's people out there that I hate. Everyone hates somebody. And maybe he's talking about, you know, you're marrying this woman and she's a fucking bitch, and you know, kick her down the aisle. I mean, goddamn, she's no bride. Anyway, but that comes to mind. Or I don't know if he's just, you know, categorizing all women here, you know, all all brides or whatever, which you know, maybe I can't get behind. But yeah, anyway, it seems like he's frustrated. And he's just, you know, he's just, I don't know, yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, my goodness gracious. Again, I enjoy the mood, I enjoy the music, but the lyrics, on the other hand, are very interesting. And Morrissey seems very mad and angry about somebody. He just seems like, I don't know if he was in a bad mood on this day, but yeah, somebody was pissing him off, it sounds like. And again, and maybe it's just to talk about as well, it seems like he's going after marriage, I would say. I don't think Morrissey ever married anybody. And again, I don't know what these stats are. I don't know if it's gone up since the last time I've heard, but I do believe marriage was on the decline at some point anyway. And at least in my, you know, friend group and who I know nobody I know was really getting married, you know, too much. There's not really many married couples that I know of, at least again with my friends. But anyway, yeah, that comes to mind as well. Just this whole talk about marriage. And again, you've heard people who are divorced who say, you know, never marry. I mean, my goodness gracious, you're going to lose everything. But anyway, maybe I've heard that from a relative or something. But anyway, yeah, so that all comes to mind, just the whole, you know, scam that is marriage. and yeah, so I don't know, he can just be going after marriage at some points as well. But again, it seems like he doesn't like this specific bride, I want to say. And there are some, you know, kind of interesting lyrics here too. And I mean, the lyrics here, I don't feel like there's any wit. I don't feel like there's any, you know, he's trying to be funny. I feel like he's just, I mean, kind of being straightforward about all of this and just trying to tell you. I mean, my goodness gracious, it's clear as hell. And again, his voice is very clear on the track too. And another thing that I forget now, but I did want to say something else. Again, I saw people talking about this, and it's something that I was kind of thinking about as well. People saying that this is kind of different from Morrissey, because again, I saw somebody say this is out of character for Morrissey in one of the comments on YouTube. But I think of songs like, you know, a song like William, It Was Really Nothing, a song like Pretty Girls Make Graves, some girls are bigger than others. I mean, these songs that maybe could be taken the wrong way or whatever. But at the same time, I mean, they're good. I love, I love Pretty Girls Make Raves. That's one of my favorite Smith songs. And Some Girls Are Bigger Than Others is a catchy as hell song as well. But anyway, yeah, just these titles also come to my head. And where again, you might take it as, oh my goodness, he's being mean or whatever the hell. I don't know. But again, this seems very... he seems to be just going in on brides here. I don't know, just this bride or just brides altogether. I don't know what it is. And I don't know if he's completely on the man's side or if that comes to mind as well. But at least he's on this man's side in this scenario with this bride. So going into the lyrics, kick the bride down the aisle. I mean, he starts off the song with the title, and make no mistake, it's the best you could do. Again, to me, it's amusing. I mean, I don't take this shit too seriously. Anyway, to me, it's amusing. I don't know. It's the best you could do for everyone's sake. Again, it seems like maybe this girl, this bride in the song, is just so hated, and she's just a bitch, and I don't know, and this guy's doing this, and he shouldn't. I don't know. For everyone's sake, it's what everyone wants. You kick this bride down the aisle. Yeah, kick the bride down the aisle and treasure the day. I know so much more than I'm willing to say. And that's a very interesting, poignant part to me. Like, he knows more about this woman that maybe the groom doesn't know about her. Maybe she's cheating. I don't know. That comes to mind. I know more about her than you know. I won't say, but I know some dirty things. I got some dirty laundry on this bitch. Anyway, she just wants a slave. And it sounds like this woman's a slob. Again, he talks about cow later on. It seems like maybe she's overweight, perhaps. I mean, I know, I've had that struggle. Anyway, but it seems like, yeah, she's a lazy bum. He's just, going in on her. I don't know. Anyway, she just wants a slave to break his back in pursuit of a living wage so that she could laze and graze like a cow, I guess, laze and graze on grass. Anyway, for the rest of her days, write down every word I say. Again, it seems like, write this down. I think of the SpongeBob and Patrick meme or whatever. But again, the words I'm telling you are true, and you got to listen to me right now. Kick the bride down the aisle in a mudslide of gloom. Again, I just keep laughing because I don't know, this is just nuts. She'll order you to tidy your room, and again, it sounds like like you're a little kid and she's the mom or something. Tidy your room. This place is a mess. Anyway. Again, it seems like this almost has kind of a teen frustration sense to it. There's some angst here. I mean, my goodness, I don't know, again, if Morrissey was just in a bad mood or what he was doing here. But anyway, it's amusing, to me at least. Kick the bride down the aisle. Look at that cow. And when he said, look at that cow, I thought he meant the bride. But then he talks, in the field. It knows more than your bride knows now. Again, this cow. And again, Morrissey, obviously a vegan, an animal rights activist. He loves cows. I mean, my goodness gracious. But he's not going to eat them or anything or take their milk. But yeah, this cow is better than her. It knows more than her. And, it can't even talk English to you or whatever language. She just wants a slave. So we have that part again. To break his back in pursuit of a living wage so that she can laze and graze for the rest of her days. Again, the rhyming here is kind of fun. Laze and graze for the rest of her days. Write down every word I say. And then here's the part where I think it got kind of dreamy and it was a little bit whimsical. You're that stretch of the beach. Again, it seems like a burn here, and it's just like Jesus Christ. You're that stretch of the beach that the tide doesn't reach. No meaning, no reason, the lonely season. Kick the bride down the aisle and treasure the day. Again, there's some poignant, interesting parts of this track, especially like I just said. You're the stretch of the beach that the tide doesn't reach. Is that like a fat joke? No meaning, no reason, the lonely season. Again, you have no meaning, you have no reason, and maybe if he doesn't marry her, he just wants to marry her so he's not lonely. I don't know, that's a thing that comes to mind. But again, kick the bride down the aisle and treasure the day that you're not married to that, person, and you won't have to deal with anything else. You'll get all out of this if you just listen to me and don't marry her. So anyway, again, it's such a interesting track. Interesting is, the only word I can think of. It's intriguing as well. It's fiery. Again, it's angsty. It's angry. It's frustrated. Frustration is all in there as well. And again, I like the music. I love the dramatics of it. I can't talk. But again, I can see, some points that people talk about, this song is kind of depressing. It's kind of, again, I talk about how people say it's kind of misogynistic, bordering on that. But at the same time, I don't know if he's just talking about this a certain scenario where he hates one certain woman that he's putting in place for this bride or what's going on. But it is at the same time, I don't know if Morrissey is just trying to be funny somehow. But at the same time, there isn't really any quips or, wit to the track. It's just all kind of straightforward. So that comes into play again. But anyway, maybe his whole point was, maybe people will take this seriously when I'm not even trying to be serious. I don't know what he's thinking. You never know. But anyway, I don't know how to end this. I mean, it's just, is there anything else I could say? I mean, it's like I said, very straightforward, and it's just it's quite the goddamn track. And I think about, I do know people. I mean, I'm not my friends or whatever, but you hear about people who, and way back in the day, I mean, obviously the man worked and the woman stayed home and cared for the children, whatever. But of course, at least, where I grew up, in the poorer part of the city, there was some relationships like this where the man went out and the woman, whatever, was was kind of a slob. I mean, that does come to mind where there are relationships like this, but maybe you wouldn't say it to their face, to the man and the woman, and say that, you work until your back breaks and she stays home. But again, friggin' the whole gender roles could be reversed. I mean, again, the woman could go out and the guy could be a slob. You never know what's going on. But these relationships obviously do exist, and anyway, it's just, anyway, that also comes to mind. But, yeah, anyway, and I think about the gender roles, too. That is another thing that comes to mind. So anyway, this is just very intriguing. So, yeah. So thanks for watching. Thanks for liking, subscribing, commenting, and for requesting this. Leave your thoughts down below. Again, I love women. I mean, my goodness, I love, my goodness gracious. So I'm not all in on this really, but I thought it was an amusing story. And again, it's just a song. I mean, it was a, like 4-minute or 5-minute track. I mean, again, it's where Morrissey sounds very mad, but it also sounds like maybe he could be just taking the piss. I don't know. But again, I love women. So thanks for watching. Thanks for liking, subscribing, commenting, and all that stuff. And I'll talk to you guys again soon. I had to mention, I love women.